This meeting of the Finance Committee, September 25th, 2025. We'll start with open forum. Does anyone else have anything for open forum? I just wanted to mention that as a housekeeping issue, annually we revote the leadership positions of Finance Committee. We haven't met since April, so we haven't done that yet this year, but I sort of missed that for this meeting. So we will do that before special town meeting, October 27th.
We're meeting again before October 27th?
No, like at special town meeting.
Oh.
We'll do it just right before
Okay,
the meeting. We can do that.
that's fine.
Okay.
So Hari also just joined.
Okay, perfect. And Beth.
And Beth, okay.
Okay. So if there's nothing else for open forum, that's good because I can see too. We'll go to our 7:05 agenda, which are the articles for special town meeting, which is October 27th. Dan, are you gonna take us through?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so the first article is authorize unpaid bills from previous fiscal years. So this is a reworld invoice that we had disputed back in October of 2024. Basically on the invoice, there are some truck numbers that did not look familiar, so we do audit those bills every month.
And Reworld is our trash incinerator.
So we filed basically not a complaint, but an inquiry to find out if those charges were legit or not. And we just heard back after the system was closed. So unfortunately, we had a bill of prior year. So the good news is this is not requesting to appropriate any more funds. We can afford this within our FY26 budget, but we just need the authorization from town meeting in order to pay the bill now, which needs a 9/10 vote at a special town meeting.
Any questions?
So, Dan, just to clarify.
Yep.
We would have paid the bill, but we were in the process of disputing,
That's correct.
and therefore we held it.
Yes.
But we also have the money available for it.
Right, we did not uncover the funds from last year, so we can just pay it out of this year's budget with this authorization.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Is this the place that our tonnage gets calculated?
Yes, it is.
And there was a big difference between
There
2
was,
years.
so we were disputing that because it looked off, so we had them go back and recalculate, and it turns out that, however, it got figured out, but they didn't come back with their dispute resolution until after we closed the books.
Great. Thanks.
Anybody else? Not seeing any other questions. I'll take a motion to recommend Article 1.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, and I'll do it by roll call since we're remote. John?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
I'm an aye. John Leffers?
Aye.
Shinji?
Aye.
Hari?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
And that's it. Okay, so that passes. And Article 2.
Okay, Article 2 is requesting to supplement various town budgets for FY26. We have quite a few here, so I'll go through the list and you can ask questions along the way. But the total is $134,000 for the general fund items that we're looking to raise and appropriate, not use free cash. So the first is for $1,000 for the select board. We received the invoice for the NIMCOG, which is our regional planning agency, after the budget was closed. So it came in about $942 higher than the $9,000 we had budgeted. So we do need to supplement that because it's an extremely tight budget, so. All right, I'll keep moving here. So for town manager expenses, we're requesting $23,000. The first is from the facilities master plan, which was originally funded through ARPA with $144,000. However, we did not, in that request, we did not budget for incidentals such as mileage and travel and printing that the consultants have charges for. So in order to close out this project, we're requesting $5,000 in FY26.
So, just a question down, is that normal when we do something like this, that you don't budget for incidentals, or is it just something we overlooked, or?
It was not necessarily spelled out in their proposal back to us and their
okay.
feedback to us. So it is generally normal to have
Okay.
that laid out and
Right.
spelled out, but it was not in that.
And I see for some of the other stuff, I see it's, to be billed separately in one or two.
All right, so also in the town manager's office is $12,000 for the Zen City contract renewal. So we engaged with them as part of the townwide strategic plan, again, using ARPA funding. And we want to continue using them for basically community engagement and public feedback.
Dan or Kristen, what kind of benefits have we seen from Zen City?
Yeah. So we have done a number of surveys for that. We currently now have out, and I should have said this under open forum, our town meeting. Are you attending or not attending? Have you attended in the past? It's been giving us a really good tool of estimating. We've been like to the 50 people on or off. We used it for our health insurance feedback for staff. We use it both internal and externally. Right now, there's a survey out for our open space and recreation plan. There's a survey out for the marketing for the Cameron Senior Center. We did drop a module that helps us understand what the social media feedback is. This allows us to bring that module back on, use AI tools to understand what the sentiments are going on in the community so we can react to that. And in the past, we also used the tool for the community survey to gauge the residents' trust or interest in certain items within the town. We've also been able to create project pages and drive people towards those pages. We used it for the facilities assessment, the strategic plan, and some other projects.
Okay. And have we seen engagement increase?
We have seen an increase, and also our communications consultant, CSS, is using this tool. They're signed on to use this tool. NIMCOG also uses this for us to develop surveys and sentiments and reports that are going out. We're also understanding if there are some tools that we currently pay for that Zen City can cover, and we think that we can actually reduce some of those costs that we're paying for today in other services and supplement with Zen City.
Okay, so will that be coming up more like in FY27?
Yes.
Or as you're going through?
As we're going through this, yes, we
Okay.
had a meeting with Zen City the other day with the communications consultant.
Okay.
Just wondering, Kristen, if this is a contract that we have just directly with Zen City, or have we purchased or consider purchasing through some type of conglomerate with either the NEMCOG communities or through MMA, or is that something that might be available to help slightly lower the costs through group purchasing?
So this is directly with Zen City. They are a sole source proprietor. I have not seen that they would offer a different price for a group pricing, but I have not asked the question. So it's a good question that I can certainly ask. I don't know if the other groups would use them or not, but we'll investigate that. It's a good question.
I see Hari has a question.
Is a contract with the Gen City subscription plan, is it like a subscription plan that covers all the modules they offer, or we use pay as you go? I mean, are we going on a fixed cost for the year, or we may incur more or less as we use subscriptions?
I'm sorry, I was having trouble understanding your question.
The volume wasn't great.
Yeah, you're a little muffled, Hari.
Give me a minute.
Are you asking if we're paying for sort of a base set of
Yeah.
modules or per module?
Or it's a flat rate subscription plan?
A flat, so this is for a year-long contract. They have 3 tiers. This is for the lowest tier. We were at the highest tier, and I'm looking to go to the middle tier with our next renewal in April.
Okay. Next question is, are we seeing any cost savings? Like instead of budgeting for 1,500 attendees at the town meeting, only 1,300 are coming. Are we seeing any cost savings or only engagement and efficiency benefits?
In terms of cost savings, I guess you could say we used to use SurveyMonkey. We're using a system called Deliver It right now to get out social media. This platform would do that for us, so we are not paying for SurveyMonkey as we had in the past. We likely won't pay for Deliver It. It would include additional tools and techniques. In terms of efficiencies, We're getting survey data back, and this tool is able to analyze that data with an AI system rather than our staff going through each piece of data step by step. So I would say that we're also saving staff time using this tool.
Yep, thank you. I think that justifies what we are paying.
Thank you.
I think we can keep going.
All right, so the last part of the town manager request is $6,000 for printing and postage for town meetings. Essentially, before every special town meeting or annual town meeting, we have to send out a postcard. And those postcards have cost us over $3,500 a piece. And then also out of the town manager's budget, we pay for the annual report printing, which we did reduce the number of copies we're printing, but still, we only have $6,000 budget for this fiscal year, and we need more like $12,000 to make it through. So printing costs keep going up, so.
How many copies of the annual report do we print now?
I don't have the number off the top of my head. I think we
Like
reduced it to like
100?
1,500.
Okay.
We were printing like 3,000, I believe. But we can get the fine. I cannot pay
I'm just
you the
curious.
numbers.
Okay.
And where do those go? I mean, I
So-
saw some in the lobby downstairs.
Yep, so we bring them to town meeting for people to pick up at town meeting.
Okay.
We also bring them to the polls for people who are at the elections. There's also copies at the library, the senior center. There are people who enjoy having them in their homes, part of their library, but we have reduced the number of copies, and it's obviously available on the web as well.
Okay. And on the postcards, I mean, it seems like a good practice, but is this like a Mass General Law requirement? Or
I think it's our general law.
Yeah, it's our bylaws.
Our bylaw
Our
requirements.
bylaws
yes.
require the postcard.
But FinCom did change slightly a few years ago.
Oh.
We used to send out the entire FinCom book,
Oh,
and now it's just the postage.
Sheet of paper,
One
yeah.
page, so, yeah.
okay.
And postage continues to go up as well.
And we're gonna have more residents in the next year or so.
Yep.
Considerably more.
Okay, the next request is for the treasurer collector budget for their expenses for $5,000. Christine Collins, our treasurer of the past 12 years, retired in August, and we hired Hannah Moeller, who spent the previous 13 years of her career in Groton as our treasurer collector. And so in the treasurer collector's office, we have 3.4 full-time employees, and all of them have less than 2 years of experience within the office. So we need to get them trained. There's an annual treasury school and a collector school that we're going to send the employees out to attend so they can get that training. It's a week long out at UMass, just so they get more experience and they can take the classes and everything like that. So we're really focusing on getting them some training in the meantime.
Mike Wells is on as a attendee. Could you put him in?
Sure. Let's see, then we have a $30,000 request for legal services. Our FY26 budget is $153,000, and we have been utilizing that so far this year. We've had some land acquisitions. We're in negotiations with basically 4 of our unions right now. We have mitigation at the fire coming up as well. And then, yeah, we are having some rigorous contract reviews as well whenever we contract with somebody. So the past 2 years, we have exceeded the FY26 budget, so we're estimating it's going to be a little bit higher this year because of the collective bargaining as well. So we're requesting $30,000 to supplement that budget.
Dan,
Yeah.
sorry, not sure. Dan, I had thought we had a conversation about this. I would have to go back and watch the recording or look at the minutes. But during our budget hearings in the spring, winter, and the fact that there was collective bargaining, and I thought we had, at the time, determined that this was sufficient. So we're here sort of now needing $30,000 more from that.
Yeah, so we did factor in more. At that time, we did not know that we were going to mediation and potentially to the JLMC with the fire union. We were not able to come to an agreement at the table, and we may incur legal costs related to that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next up is $25,000 for the technology budget. We do have Mike Walls online. If Mike, if you want to.
Yes. Hi there. Good evening, everyone. So this is money we need to buy an additional piece of software for the fire department dispatch center. Um, there are some new regulations. I'm not sure when they were introduced, but we only got to hear about this a couple of months ago. That we have to comply with by the end of the year, and the vendor of our current dispatch software, IMC system, has said that they don't intend to meet these requirements for Massachusetts. So what this is for is a piece of software which we add on to the existing IMC system and takes those tickets that are dispatched to the fire department and processes them. And that's going to allow us to, not only to do the reporting that we're legally required to do by the end of the year, but also compile better statistics about the work that's getting done in those calls. We didn't obviously have a chance to put it in our budget when we originally asked for it. So that's why we're asking for it now.
Anybody?
So, just a quick question, Mike. So, this annual subscription, is it fixed for a number of years, or is it just a one-year thing, or?
At the moment, it's a one-year contract, and we have got it in our budget for 27, but we don't have it in the budget for 26. I think it's 20. If I remember correctly, it's $4,800 for the implementation and 20,000 something for the subscription fee. So the 20,000 will go in the annual budget, but this year we need both.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just, the question is, it's 20,000 this year. Is it liable to be 20,000 next year, or 30,000, or is the?
I don't know. I mean, they could put the prices up significantly. We have no indication they're planning on doing that. I do know that the emergency management departments generally are looking to replace IMC in the not too distant future. And it's quite possible that they'll come up with a solution which does everything.
Okay.
And we won't need to buy two things anymore. But again, what would the cost of that be? I don't think we have any way of knowing at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Nate?
Mike, in here it says that in FY27, the town anticipates savings by reducing its IMC software footprint. Do you have a dollar figure on that?
So there's apparently this only came to us a few weeks ago, so I'm really not, my depth of knowledge in this is not great. But as I understand it, there are some parts of IMC which this will allow us to dispense with, because it goes over and above what IMC does. So we may well have the option of cancelling some of the modules we have in IMC once we have this thing installed and working. So I think, if I remember rightly, in my budget for next year, which we just looked at this morning, Kristen, I think I had anticipated IMC going down slightly, if I remember rightly.
And, Mike Dennehy, do you have something to add to this?
I'm sorry?
Mike Dennehy has his hand up. I'm just wondering if he has something to add.
Yeah, this is, so IMC, we've had IMC since 2001, and it's been sold over and over multiple times. It's more geared towards the police side, where this new software is fire-based. One of the major requirements is the government is starting to go to a new reporting system, like Mike said, where we have to move to it. The state has given us January 1st as a move date. Some of the departments in the state have already moved over it, some of it haven't, but this is also a requirement. If we don't move over to this new software, we won't be in compliant to receive any grants, state or federal wise as well. So there is also, by going to this new software, there's going to be platforms we're going to use, which we're not going to have to use on the IMC side as well. So there should be savings next year. We just need to get the system up and running and see how it works, and let IT integrate it and see where it goes before we can determine exactly what the savings will be.
Anyone else have questions on this? I don't see any. Mike, I'm just gonna take the opportunity now to say thank you to you. Not sure we'll see you again.
Thank
Mike
you.
is retiring.
There's plenty more FinCom meetings for the next 2.5 weeks, I think, aren't there?
No.
No more
Nope,
FinCom,
this
just
is it.
capital.
No, thank you, Mike,
Okay,
yes.
there's capital here. That's good.
Right,
We've got
see you at
capital.
Capitol. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, so next up, we have $30,000 for the wastewater treatment expenses. Mark, you out there?
I am. My video is not working, but can you guys all hear me?
We can.
All right, great. So, we are requesting that $30,000 to hire a Massachusetts licensed professional engineer. Back in September, the Mass DEP issued an administrative consent order against the Westford Academy wastewater treatment plant due to multiple permit violations. One of the conditions of this ACO is to hire a Mass licensed PE to develop what's called a return to compliance plan to get the plant back into consistent compliance. And we are under somewhat of a deadline in that the DEP expects this return to compliance plan by the end of this year, so December 31st of 2025. Which is why we're asking for it at special town meeting.
Any questions on that?
So this is coming out of free cash, not out of the water enterprise?
It's not part of the water enterprise, it's part of the wastewater treatment plant, which were part of the school budgets before. And so Public Works took them over, I want to say about 10 years ago or so.
Okay. So that's why
It's from the general fund, yeah.
so this gets us a plan, but it doesn't get us, then we'll have to figure out. how
There's
we
probably
pay
going to
for
be
the
a major
solution.
capital ask after
Yeah.
the plan, yes. But we will have some time to prepare for that.
Correct. This plan is to determine what actions to take to get the plant consistently back into compliance. Could be process change, it could be technology change, it could be a combination of the two. We just don't know yet.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Hari?
Within the same subtopic of that, have we engaged and the $30,000 is a contracted price, or we are estimating it would be 30,000, and once we engage the ACOP, we will know exact cost of remediation?
That is correct. It's an estimated cost.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else on that?
Seems like a crappy situation.
Good one.
Okay. Next up?
All right, next is veteran services expenses for $20,000. So we did hire our new veteran service agent last fiscal year, and he has significantly increased the outreach for the communities at the senior center all the time, holds office hours. And with that, he has engaged some more veterans and enrolled them in benefits. So the way, so far this year, through the first 3 months, we've spent $6,500. So that's going to blow through the $18,000 budget we had pretty quickly. So we wanted to supplement that now so we can continue to operate throughout the year. The good thing about this is that not only is it helping the veterans, but the state reimburses us 75% of all the eligible costs. And then lastly, we have the ambulance enterprise fund for $9,600. Chief, I don't know if you want to take that one or.
Yeah, so this is another expense that we weren't planning on. When we buy our ambulances, we buy them with the equipment, the ambulance, the stretchers and stuff in them, and they come with a 3-year warranty. While some of our Stryker equipment, all of it actually, the 3 stretchers, the 3 stair chairs, and associated equipment their warranty has ran out, so we need to keep up with the warranty of the current equipment until the next ambulance comes in, which that ambulance equipment will all be under warranty. So this was another unexpected expense that we weren't planning on and we didn't see coming until Stryker told us recently.
And I'm sorry, could you clarify what did they tell you? That
The warranties have run out on our stretchers and stair chairs, which are Stryker equipment.
okay.
So this is to perform preventative maintenance, and the stretchers, I don't know if any of you know, the stretchers are all battery operated, so those batteries are are a considerable amount of money when they don't work. So this is a yearly thing, and it's required by OEMS to get these equipment checked annually and done preventative maintenance on them.
So normally the warranty would cover the preventative maintenance?
Correct.
Okay, but we must know the warranty length ahead of time? I'm just wondering why we didn't know that it was running out.
It was the most recent ambulance, just the equipment just came out of warranty, and that was covering a lot of it.
Chief, if I may step in here, a lot of this stems from when we purchase new ambulances, we generally roll in a PM plan into the purchase. And that ambulance that we purchased several years ago, the delivery's been delayed, and that's what threw off our PM schedule payment.
Okay, all right, that's a better
Yeah,
explanation. So if it wasn't delayed, you'd be fine?
We'd be fine. It's incurred in the cost of the ambulance, but since it's not here yet, the cost
Gotcha.
isn't there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that ambulance is expected to be here until the first part of 27.
Oh, wow, okay.
So does that mean we're gonna have the same issue next year as well? We're gonna need to extend the warranty another year because they won't be here till physically 27?
Matt, you want to follow up with that?
Is this one a 3-year again, or is this just for the year?
This one's a 1 year.
So we'll have to find it in our budget for next year. The ambulance was supposed to be here already, so that's kind of the.
No, I understand that, Matt, understand that. So we'll just have to
So
put it in the budget next year as well.
I have a small question. Is the warranty is from the date of placement of the order or from the date of the delivery of the ambulance?
So the term warranty is kind of getting mixed up with preventative maintenance schedule. So it's really a preventative maintenance plan that is associated with the stretchers, the stair chairs. There's a lifting device which puts the stretcher into the back of the ambulance, and then all the batteries and chargers, and it's kind of one complete package. And it's all of the 3 ambulances, all of the stuff in all of them, and that's hence the $9,300.
And we wouldn't see this, it's a one-time scheduling nightmare, but once we are on the regular plan, you wouldn't be able to, it's already part of the budget, right, on an ongoing basis?
It will be extended out a number of years, yes. The new ambulance will come with some new equipment. The old equipment will be retired. It kind of gets cycled. So these things are good for a certain number of hours of use. And that's the way they characterize them. And our oldest one is approaching end of life because of the hours of use. And again, that's kind of an issue for us because the new ambulance is supposed to come with a new stretcher so that we can get rid of the old. So we're trying to keep things afloat as much as we can.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. If there are no other questions for the Article 2, I just wanted to point out, well, actually, I did have a question. So, Dan, this is going to be covered in our levy capacity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how much extra do we have before or after this?
So
134.
we should have about 60,000-ish more. Like state aid came in a little bit ahead of where we were expecting. Our new growth was a little bit ahead too. So that being said, the Feds just dropped the interest rates too. So we want to be a little careful with our investment income projections. So I want to bring that downward some too. So we're close to at the levy limit with these appropriations.
Okay.
And the total is 104?
134. Sorry.
Okay, the memo says 104.
Yeah, Christina caught that today, and I updated it and reposted. So,
Oh,
but thank you. Yes.
downloaded.
Yeah.
Yes. Apologies.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, so if there's no more questions on these, I'll take a motion to recommend Article 2.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, thank you both. And all in favor? roll
Sorry,
call.
I have one question that
Sure.
is culmination of everything, right? Where does the money come from?
It's part of the levy limit, so it's part of the tax base. We do have a little bit of extra capacity within this year's budget, just because state aid came in a little bit higher and we met our new growth numbers. So It's not coming from free cash, it's just raise and appropriate the funds.
Can I ask one?
Okay. Is there a specific bucket we refer to that where it's coming from, or it's just coming? Meaning, if this money is not spent, where would the money be?
For the general fund items, it close back out the free cash at year end.
Okay, currently it's in general fund that's appropriated to these appropriations. If not, it would have gone to free cash.
Exactly, yes.
Thank you, Dan.
Did you have
One more question. Sure. You said the state aid came in higher.
Yeah.
Was that particularly Chapter 70 funding, or was it from other sources?
There was more Chapter 70 funding that came in at $150 per student. But basically what we used as our basis back in January was the governor's budget. That went through all sorts of rounds, and finally it was approved in July, of course, after town meeting. So the net increase was 194,000 or so higher than what the governor's budget was.
And that was from a variety of our sources, not solely Chapter 70.
Not solely Chapter 70, but that's obviously our biggest source of revenue as well.
And there were some other offsets that we actually did not anticipate as well.
So,
Correct.
like our state assessments got hit a little bit larger than what we were anticipating. So the net was at 194.
Got it. Okay.
Which is good. So we're in a better place
Thank you.
this year.
Okay. Done questions, so we have a motion, we have a second. So, John,
Aye.
Nate,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Beth,
Aye.
Shinji,
Aye.
Hari,
Aye.
John, Leffers?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously, thank you. And on to the capital appropriations.
The first one is for IT. So, Mike, do you want to explain this one too, one more time?
Sure, yeah. So
And wait, just
we
but
are-
Mike, just before you go, the capital planning committee did hold their meeting on September 9th, 8th, and did vote recommendations
Yeah.
on these, so we're happy to talk about that as well. But I just want to give, for the general public and the finance committee, these were vetted by the capital planning committee as well.
And approved?
They were all approved, some were not unanimous. Do you want us to go through the votes before you hear them, or at the end?
Maybe at the end.
Okay, so, Mike, well, sorry to steal your thunder, go right ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, so we have been working on a project to consolidate and upgrade the internet connections from our municipal network. We currently have 8, I think it is, single gigabit connections across all the schools and the towns. And we intend to consolidate that into 3 connections, probably 2 or 3, and higher bandwidth so that we have higher bursting where we need it. But also we want to upgrade our firewalls from the fairly old-fashioned firewall infrastructure we have now to next generation firewalls that do a better job of packet inspection, looking for behavior patterns as well as just simply ports and addresses for protection against malware and so on. So we estimated the project at $100 and something thousand. We managed to get a grant for 73,000, I think it was. So this what's on the capital request now is the difference between those two numbers. There's some urgency to do it because, for one thing, I think we have to allocate the funds in the grant before the end of this year. But either way, we want to do it next summer, and if we have to wait till town meeting, we really can't start the project until April or something, and that doesn't leave us much time to do it. So we want to get this thing started so that we can be ready to test it and implement it over the summer next year. And when I say we, I won't actually be here. We as in the IT department.
Okay, any questions for Mike?
I would just say I think it's great that we're leveraging
Yeah.
grant funds for something like this, and this is a really important topic, and for municipalities around the country who had cyber attacks, it's debilitating, it's costly, and so on. Do we carry cybersecurity insurance?
We do.
Yeah. So I mean, this must
This will help us with
help
our.
us with that as well. So seems like a no-brainer.
Great.
Okay.
Next.
Next up, we have the DPW request for capital. We have Kyle Fox here, DPW Director.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, committee members. I'm going to start with the sidewalk tractor.
Sure.
Okay. So the first item to discuss, and actually, if you don't mind, I'll talk about the two items together.
Sure, that makes sense.
Sure. So starting in the winter season of 21-22, Public Works started a pilot program to plow for the first time sidewalks in town. And it was a little over 3 miles of sidewalk that were plowed. Over the next 4 years, little bits of sidewalk were added to where last winter, in year 4 of our pilot program, we plowed 3.8 miles of our 63 miles of sidewalk. The vendor that we've had was a sole bidder with both bids, and he is elected to no longer provide the service to us. So as of today, we have no ability to contract or plow sidewalks ourselves because we don't have equipment. So we're presenting, and that's the reason for bringing it to special town meeting. So we're providing two options and potentially combining the options into a plan for Westford voters to decide what direction we should go with winter maintenance. So the first piece of machinery is called a trackless MT7. The cost of it is about $300,000. It would come with a front snow blower, a V-plow, and a power angle plow that would allow us to do much more than the 3.8 miles of sidewalk that we currently contract out. Additionally, it would give us a lot of flexibility in year-round maintenance. The cost presented to you includes some additional attachment equipment, chiefly a front flail mower, which would help us in our MS4 compliance for maintaining our detention ponds, and a side boom flail mower, which would allow us to more efficiently maintain our roadway vegetation, improving sight distance, and just keeping our roadways clear for traffic. The second piece of the ask is the piece of equipment that the contractor used the last 4 years. He had originally bought used. That equipment has been resold back to the company that sold it to him, and they've offered to sell it back to us at a cost of just under $40,000. That would give us additional flexibility to do work. It would ensure that should we have a mechanical issue with the frontline piece of equipment, that we'd have a backup. Despite our best efforts, everything struggles at some point, and this would give us a little extra ability for that. So that's the ask, and happy to entertain any questions.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm a little confused about the two maps at the end, because it implies to me that if we do this, either of these, those are the sidewalks we're going to plow, and that's it.
Yeah, thanks for prompting that question. So basically, the two maps that are in the packet are the pilot program. If town meeting were to opt to just purchase the used piece of equipment, the compact loader, we would be able to accomplish the pilot program sidewalk. So we'd continue with the 3.8 miles. If we get the bigger tractor, then we would be able to do much more than the 3.8 miles that's shown on the plans in your packet. And I should note, I neglected to mention this, the cost of the budget is actually a cost savings either way. Right now, we pay just under $40,000 a year out of our snow and ice budget for this contracted service. I'm anticipating about $6,000 to $9,000 in overtime cost for employees, for our employees to do the work. So I know it's not a fair comparison to do because the equipment does cost a lot of money. But if you take that piece out, the impact to the operating budget will actually decrease by 30,000 or so each year.
And so what would the, I mean, you said you could do a lot more if you did the other one. I think as well as a member of FinCom and as just a voter at town meeting, I would be interested to know how much more. And like,
Yeah.
you know, because to me, it's a big purchase price. And I can think of sidewalks that even last year I brought up to Kristen, and it was put a brand new sidewalk along Carlisle Road and it was completely covered in snow, and there was a bunch of people walking on the street back and forth to the market basket, you know, and so just thinking of, well, even visually, how much more are we planning to be able to do, you know, and what would that overtime cost? And if we have 60-something miles, what's the rate that you move it at? That to me would just be a really important question to have an answer to, at least by the time it gets to town meeting.
Yeah, and I think we'll have more clarity on that by the time we get to town meeting. One thing we plan to do is present an updated winter maintenance policy to the select board in October is what we're shooting for. And that will sort of describe what we envision that the maintenance plan would look like. And basically what we would do, we'd have different levels of sidewalk priority. First level would be those near schools and town center. Second priority would be connecting denser population areas, elderly areas to commercial zones. And then third priority would be subdivisions and those kind of things. And in the policy would be kind of the guidance on which ones do you do on overtime, which ones do you do on straight time. And I suspect that typically you would do your priority 1 sidewalks on overtime, and priority 2 and priority 3 would be done on straight time. So no additional effect on the operating budget for those, but we will have more clarity, I suspect, by the time we get to town meeting.
So quick question, Carol. Do you know what we did before we contracted with the current contractor? Did we plow any sidewalks at all?
My understanding is we didn't. Being the newbie, I would defer to people.
No, nothing was done.
Nothing was done.
I'll just jump in. If you notice in the motion, the capital planning was actually a 7-3 vote, and I was one of the no's. And the reason that I voted no, first off, I appreciate Kyle bringing an alternative to the pilot program because it has been going for so many years, and without a vendor, you know, it's good to see what the option is for continuing. So I appreciate that. And I would love to see all of our sidewalks plowed. With that said, we've had this pilot program going for 4 years, so I think it's time to make a decision, right? Yeah. Especially if we're talking about spending a lot of money on equipment. I'd kind of like to see some kind of policy discussion or a more look at in the budget to figure out, okay, what exactly are we going to do and how much can we afford before, like, I just feel like we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit with the equipment needs. So I'm glad to hear that that winter policy is going to be coming to the select board. I think that kind of wraps up. What else do I have here? So again, I'm not necessarily against the $40,000 piece of equipment, but I want to hear from the select board whether we really want to go down that route of continuing just plowing that 3.8 miles of sidewalk out of 63 miles. It seems a little unfair, you know. So there's that's sort of where my brain is, and then the $300,000 piece of equipment just feels like a stretch. If I'm not sure what personnel you've got to be able to do that, and so it just feels like a little too much for right now. But that's why I voted no.
And just for clarity, I know Kyle did say this, but I want to repeat it again. The $300,000 piece of equipment, if it so moves forward with town meeting, would be a year-round piece of equipment, not just a winter piece of equipment. And also out of our 63 miles of sidewalk, some of those would not even be able to be plowed with this piece of equipment due to the width of them, poles or stone walls or other items that they could not be plowed. So we are currently going forward with and almost completing a sidewalk assessment plan that will help further inform what sidewalks are, what the conditions are, what the width is, what the impediments are, what maintenance is required, the cost of that maintenance. So we're building that plan out as well. So even if we were to say we have 62 miles of sidewalk, there is no way we could plow 62 miles of sidewalk due to physical impediments in the right of way.
Sure. And I guess I would just like to see a little bit more of a complete plan before going forward. So that's my my issue.
And we had planned to tackle it that way. We were planning, this ask was going to be for next year, but the contractor backing out sort of accelerated our urgency.
Sure, that makes sense.
Is there another contractor who can cover this winter?
Not that we found. Yeah.
You said he was the sole bidder.
Yeah.
The sole bidder.
Hari also has a question.
So basically, if you buy the piece of equipment from the contractor, the $40,000, you can continue to plow what we already.
We would make that commitment, yes.
Okay. All right. And how much should we pay the contractor?
About, last year was $38,500.
So $40,000 this year. So we'd be spending the same as we have spent last year, plus whatever labor costs to do it ourselves.
Yes.
All right. But that would enable us to continue doing what we're doing now, and then we could potentially consider the larger piece of equipment next year if we decide to move forward once we have this comprehensive plan for all the sidewalks.
If this piece of equipment goes down for any reason this winter, we may not be able to get to all the sidewalks. So just use that as a caution, not trying to sway anyone either way, just using that as a fact.
I think Hari has a question.
I have a series of questions. If I remember, I will continue, but it's all friendly queries, right? The first one is, let's say if it is a no, we couldn't get the equipment or we couldn't get approval for 300,000. Would the sidewalks remain uncleaned? They will be having snow, or what's going to happen to sidewalks if we don't have a workable solution this winter?
My expectation would be if we'd keep searching for a contractor. Should we not be able to find one, they would remain unplowed for this winter.
Okay. And I see this equipment, this is a pretty big tractor, right? So would it travel on the side of the road and the boom will clean the snow, or will this actually be on the sidewalk?
The tractor actually fits on the sidewalk. It's about 48 inches wide, and it's made for sidewalk applications.
I
If
live
you
off
notice,
of Boston Road. I live off Boston Road. I don't know how this one fits, but I leave the technicals to you, right?
Yep.
But for me, I echo what Christina said. Is the presentation is good, but the solution itself has some refining work to do. I would certainly am on board purchasing the $40,000 equipment this winter, with the caveat that it may break down or it could have, it's a old equipment. That's what we get as a stopgap, and have a full-length policy discussion and come up with a proper solution for buying the big equipment. That's where my thoughts lie.
Anybody else have anything?
So the $40,000 for the contract is already in a budget somewhere.
it is. It's in the snow and ice budget.
So it's like apples and oranges. It's just a capital
Sure.
versus
Sure.
the snow and ice removal.
Yeah.
So that's a wash in a sense.
Essentially, except for the
Except for the
overstack
labor.
component. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, Cal.
It would be a wash, and that would be actually a good solution because we'd spend 40,000 once, and then you're only going to spend the overtime in
Right.
however many years forward.
9,000 or whatever.
Again, it's a pilot, it's 3.8 miles. I'd rather see a full
No, I'm,
solution or some decision made before we outlay any cash. I guess that's sort of my point.
John Lovers has a question.
John?
Yeah, is there a time frame for the completion of the study you referred to that would sort of help us think about this a little bit?
Yeah, so the sidewalk assessment, I would call it about 95% done. The consultant is just doing some QC/QA work to verify some of the widths and some of the data they provided. So we should have that final document in the near future. That said, we won't have extracted the plan from it probably for a little bit of time due to staff effort to pull that together, that'll take some doing, but at least we'll have a basis of eliminating the sidewalks that are 2 and 3 feet wide. We'll be able to quickly and easily eliminate them from a possible snow plowing plan.
So how do you transport this equipment around?
It drives.
It drives.
Yeah,
So
it's got a
you
license
drive
plate
your-
on it. Yep, it's street legal.
Is there, so I grew up next door in Chelmsford, and even when I was younger, I feel like all the sidewalks got plowed every winter storm. And I just found that they have a whole sidewalk plan. It says within 4 days of a storm and how they prioritize and how many miles they get done per day. And so maybe we could look at something like that if we're going to have something in the long run. But I mean, plenty of those sidewalks were not all that wide either. And I don't remember the equipment being this big. Is there something in the middle of these two options, or a smaller machine that still moves at a decent pace that is out there that other towns are using?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, this is a very typical machine. A lot of towns own this piece of machinery. I'm guessing Chelmsford may in fact own one.
I just remember it being more like the size of a Bobcat,
Yeah.
like with tracks instead of wheels, which are not nearly as wide as this, and to the point about, eliminating a bunch of 2 and 3 foot wide sidewalks, just, and probably cost less too, because they're some smaller machines. Maybe not, I don't, it's not my area of expertise, it's yours.
Yeah.
I would ask Kyle that perhaps either you or you, Kristen, reach out to some of the neighboring towns that do sidewalk plowing, and if they have other machinery, maybe Lowell also has different sizes of machinery that might be available or just more efficient in the long run. Spending $300,000 for a piece of machinery that, even if we wanted to, couldn't do all 60 whatever miles, to me is, concerning if we're going to eliminate a bunch of sidewalks off the top.
Anybody else have any questions? John?
Yeah, I guess it's a question / comment, and it is a bit difficult to have much of an opinion on this until we see more details. I mean, a couple of the things that pop up into my mind here are just the labor costs associated with managing the $300,000 machine, and do we have people that are capable of doing that? Do we need to hire somebody? And then I think just the other one that pops into my mind is that when it snows, then you deploy this $300,000 piece of machinery with a person or multiple people that are running it, and then if it snows overnight, they can run. They're running one machine kind of all night long, and then in the morning, people are probably, I assume, are clearing off the sidewalks themselves. And so, what is the real utility of this, and under what circumstances, and what's the cost in terms of manpower and all the other things that kind of go along with having a service like this?
So if I can understand the question, so the crew we have, they're professional heavy equipment operators. They are certainly more than skilled to operate this piece of equipment.
And our mechanic could.
Yes, and our mechanic would maintain it. As far as timing of running the equipment, because all of our guys are involved in the road snow maintenance clearing operation, sidewalks would not be maintained until after the storm was completed. And then the operator would jump in the tractor and start sidewalks depending on the time of night, how long they've been working, et cetera. If it's a super long storm, odds are schools are probably going to be closed on that day, which would give us a little more time to catch up anyway. So that's kind of how the operation would go. Regarding time for people to clear sidewalks, we don't find that a lot of people clear their own sidewalks, so I'm not sure that would be beneficial to wait for that.
I guess
did I miss any
the
questions,
question
John?
with that is this just how long would it take for that piece of equipment to clear? What did we say? 60 miles of sidewalk? Is that what the estimate is?
That's the total sidewalk length we have.
Total sidewalk. So,
Yeah.
yeah, how long would it take for that piece of equipment to clear? I don't know, whatever is eligible, call it 30 mi, or how many miles per hour, I guess, of sidewalk can this thing clear?
Yeah, I will have a better answer for that when we come back.
Yeah,
The kind of the number that Nate recited from the Chelmsford policy is a pretty good estimate that to get all of your sidewalks, including subdivisions, it can take the better part of a week, 4 to 5 days. And kind of going back to a previous question, would we get all of our sidewalks? Really, that depends on the winter. If you get repeated storms, 2 days apart, then obviously we're not going to get to the third priority until after we have a break in storms.
I think unless there's anything new, I feel like, Kyle just doesn't have the details that we're kind of seem to be getting down at this point. So unless your question is a little more high level.
I'm just wondering if the schools would be using this equipment for their sidewalks and parking lots, or if the schools use separate equipment.
Yeah, great question, Beth. I did have a conversation with Jeff Goodwin to see if he would also be able to use it. And he said it wouldn't really fit well into his operation at this point. They do have their own equipment. They use small snow blowers and items like that. So that there doesn't appear to be an area where Jeff would make use of it, but we'd certainly offer it up to be a co-used piece of equipment if it was appropriate.
And then my other question is you said that this could be used beyond just snow clearing. So what would you utilize this for beyond just clearing sidewalks for snow?
Yeah, the two primary uses would be to maintain growth in our detention ponds, which is a requirement of our MS4 permit, the EPA stormwater permit, and clearing vegetative growth along the edge of our roadways for sight distance and other reasons. Right now, we use our excavator for that task. It's much slower, it's much bigger, difficult for traffic to navigate around, and it beats up the excavator for a purpose that is not intended for. And we'd much rather have an excavator doing excavator things rather than mowing.
Okay. Why don't we keep going on the rest, unless there's any other questions on snow plowing? Is that it?
The ambulance, the ambulance is listed next. You can stay there, Kyle, this should take 1 second. So basically, this is a request that I put on there. Back in 2024, we had authorized a bond to purchase an ambulance just to get it ordered. It's the ambulance that the chief and deputy are saying won't come until January of 27. So at this point in time, we do have the retained earnings. We have 1.3 certified in ambulance retained earnings. So what I'm asking town meeting to do is rescind the bond and appropriate those retained earnings. We don't have the bond that ambulance and save some money.
Yeah, sounds good. Next.
I think we have the stormwater up next for the.
Did we,
What about the fiber?
and Parks and Grounds?
I was going by the motions, but we can go by whatever.
Oh,
I was going off the memo.
Oh, the memo, that's right.
Yeah. And one of them is Parks and Grounds.
Let's go off the motions too, whichever order you want to go in. Okay, so you did the ambulance.
Yep.
Do we want to skip to the, what else do you have, Kyle?
I have Nutting Field and
Oh, that's later,
Colonial
okay.
Drive
Okay.
Bridge.
Gotcha. So the stormwater one, the $450,000?
Sure.
Is it-
Yep, I can speak to that one too.
Go ahead.
Thank you again. So this project is a $450,000 funding request for engineering design, permitting, and construction services to repair the bridge that carries Colonial Drive, which is a road off of Griffin Street in the southern part of town. Mass DOT recently performed their biannual inspection on the bridge and downgraded it from poor to serious. The bridge was in our plan to bring to town meeting in the spring. But given the downgrading and the resulting every 3-month inspection cycle by MassDOT, we thought it important to bring it to special town meeting. The issue with it getting downgraded even further could be one of two options. The state could tell us we have to post it at a lower weight limit, say for passenger cars only. The issue for that, of course, is moving trucks, fuel vehicles, school buses wouldn't be able to travel over it. Even worst case scenario would be if they told us to close it outright. And what that would do, because Colonial Drive is a cul-de-sac road with no other outlet, we'd have 12 houses without access to egress to Griffin Street. So we'd have to find some way to make an improvement and find access somewhere through side yard to another road or some temporary repair. So the engineering team, Paul and Jeremy, worked with a consultant to come up with a good plan for this project. We're proposing a cured-in-place pipe technology as the repair option rather than an excavate and replace option. The trenchless technology is completed by inserting new fiber reinforced liner into each of the pipes and inflating it to match the pipe cross-section. It's then cured using UV light, and when fully hardened, the liner becomes the new structural pipe. And the estimated design life for this kind of repair is 50 years. The trenchless repair method is much less disruptive, less costly, and with then an open cut replacement, and the road would remain open to the public throughout the construction. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Any questions on this?
Do we get any state grants or anything like that for this?
Hang on one second, Hari. I'll get to you in 1 second. Go ahead, Nate.
How old is the bridge?
So I'm not sure. Typically, these metal pipes were installed in the 70s and 80s, so well over 50 years.
Hari, go ahead.
I was just trying to see if there are any grants, federal grants or anything like that we get for this project.
Yeah, unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be for this one.
Okay.
There are small bridge grant replacements, but this does not qualify, correct?
Right. And I should have mentioned that the funding for this project would come out of the Stormwater Utility Fund.
Any other questions on that? Why don't we go into Nutting Field then, I guess?
Sure.
If you want to do that. Okay.
Be happy to. So the next project is one that's familiar to the committee. We presented the Nutting Field turf replacement project at town meeting this past March. It did not pass the 2/3 requirement to get bonding for the project, although it did get about 65% of the support at town meeting. Following that, we did a pretty comprehensive presentation on May 5th to the Park and Rec Commission and to the larger public. We held it at the Millennium facility, and it was standing room only in the meeting room, plus overflow in the adjacent lobby room and viewers online. And there was overwhelming support to bring this back at special town meeting and to bring it back as a turf project rather than grass. So some of the comments that came up at annual town meeting that we addressed better in the presentation in May was first off was a cost comparison between turf and grass fields. And although similar cost for a turf replacement versus converting to grass in the short run, converting to grass would require an additional parks employee, which would have an impact going forward on the operating budget. And the biggest cost difference, if you were to compare apples to apples in terms of field space accessibility, would be studies have shown that you need about 2 to 3 times the space for a grass field than turf field because of the durability of a turf field against overuse. Should the town decide to go the grass route and try to do that equivalent, there'd certainly be a rather large cost of finding appropriate space, doing the development, and creating the fields. So what we're trying to do now is bring this back to town meeting to get their perspective a second time and see how people feel about it. We are out to bid right now. We've put a bid for the project out with the idea that I think people will appreciate knowing what the project is actually going to cost rather than just a blanket sum of money. So bids are scheduled to open on October 9th, which means we'll have them in ample time to report that to town meeting on the 27th. I know there's a lot of information on this, so I guess I'll just wait for questions.
Any questions? Okay, wow. That could be the easiest
Very good.
one for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So then the fire trucks, I think that's the last.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I say something, just point of personal privilege for Kyle before you? I just want to give accolades to you and your team for, it's not on our agenda here today, but the project at the Jack Walsh Field and the parking area. I live across the street down Texas Road at the end of that, and it just looks remarkable, and it's very aesthetically pleasing. People are enjoying the playground and the new courts there that the Recreation Commission put in. And I just got to see the DPW team out there working on it regularly, and even the other day doing more landscaping to make it look nice. And I just want to point out that it was a job very well done.
Thank you for saying that. The team is really proud of how it came out, both the contractor part and the part that our own crews did. So thank you for saying so.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Fire engines. Chief or Matt, whichever one of you wants to take this.
Sure, that'd be me. Thanks for having us here tonight so that we can chat a little bit about our request here. First off, let me just give you a little background on it. We've had 2 reserve pieces for as long as I've been here, and this year we lost both of them, in one of them being a catastrophic failure after a pump test, and the other one became too much of a suck on the maintenance budget and was deemed not fiscally responsible to keep going. So we're now left without any reserve pieces. The complication comes mostly from extended wait time for new trucks. The one truck that you see for 145-ish is a 1,500-day wait time. So you order a truck today, it's 1,500 days before it gets delivered. So what happened was the ones that we've ordered, we've tried to stick to a 10-year replacement schedule, 10 years as a frontline piece, and then another 10 as a reserve piece, and then out to pasture. Engine 1 we ordered, and then that one was a shock at 1,300 days, and so that set us way behind on replacement schedule. And then with these 2 failing unexpectedly, we're kind of in a bind. So the one replacement is for engine 4, which is due in 3 years. 1,500 days is obviously more than 3 years, so even that truck, if we ordered today, would be late with our replacement schedule. But you can understand why we're trying to get that ordered ASAP. We feel that it's important to bring this to the special town meeting, which I understand is for emergency appropriations, simply because there will be a potential for 2 increases in price between now and the spring town meeting, which equals somewhere between $70,000 and $100,000 in the truck cost. So we're thinking that we know what we're going to order, and there isn't any cost associated with ordering it. The cost is obviously when the truck is due. So this is really just asking permission to order it. The second truck there is to buy a truck that we can find on a lot right now so that we can at least live with one reserve piece. And a reserve piece is used when one of our frontline pieces goes out for maintenance. If you have a mutual aid call where you're responding to another town, we'll do a callback of our own members, and they would staff that reserve piece. So our number of in-service engines doesn't change. But currently, since we don't have a reserve, we actually go down an engine while any of that is done. So just a backstory on that, our engine 4, that one that we're trying to replace with the ordering here, was out this spring for 9 weeks because they were having problems finding parts to fix it. And when the parts came in, that wasn't the problem, so they had to do a whole bunch of other stuff. And so we were down an engine for 9 weeks. So this to us is very shocking and difficult to understand, but it's the world we're living in. So we're trying to get a reserve piece so that we can mitigate some of these concerns.
I'll add to this too, just to give you a little background. One of the trucks, engine 5, which is 31 years old, it recently failed its pump test. They're estimating $25,000 to fix the pump, and there's no guarantee it's going to work once they get into it. The other truck is engine 2, which is our other reserve, which was the primary reserve. That spent that consumed half our budgeted maintenance amount last year, and quite frankly, it went into service. It did 200 calls, and it was on a tow truck 4 times. It's problematic engine problems. It's been separating, the body separating from the welds. The dealer that we bring it to regularly has recommended that it's a safety, has said it's a safety issue, and they recommend getting rid of it. It's not drivable, and I don't feel comfortable keeping it on the road, and I don't think the town would either. It's an unknown. They don't know why it's doing it.
Any questions?
I just want to make sure I understand. The $1 million request is to get a truck off a lot. Is that correct?
So they build spec builds, and so every, I don't know, depends on your manufacturer, but 20 or so trucks that go through the yard, they build one on spec with the hopes that if they build it, they will come, so to speak. And right now, they're fairly hard to reserve because we're not the only ones in this situation. So there's no guarantee that you get one, but every few months they do come up, and hopefully if you have the funding secured, you can reserve one.
Okay. So these are brand new trucks still, though. They're not used.
Brand new trucks.
And can you just help me understand later on in the backup material, there's 2 quotes for the exact same thing that are $140,000 difference.
I don't have those paperworks in front of me. None of the trucks should be the exact same. They all have subtle differences.
Okay. I'm just looking at in the backup material, it says Allegiance Fire and Rescue bid number 44092, 1 Pierce MFG medium pumper, $981,000. And then right after it is bid number 44483, 1 Pierce MFG medium pumper, $841,000.
So those are 2 separate trucks indicated by the different bid numbers, and they're outfitted differently. So the more expensive truck comes with a different front suspension. It comes with a different foam system built in.
Totally understand. So you were just putting in 2 quotes as examples of approximately what one of these trucks would cost.
Might be able to obtain.
Got it. That's helpful. Thank you.
Dan, I just have a question. How does this work into our current debt schedule?
Sure. So if we're able to get the $1 million truck and secure one off the line, at a 15-year bond at $1 million, it's going to be about $89,000 per year. So we'd work that into next year's budget. The $1.4 million, we're not going to see a debt payment until FY30 at the beginning. So it's not on our 3-year schedule. So it's really just saving the money on the future purchase by ordering it now.
Any other questions?
I have a few questions. My camera broke just during this talk.
Yeah.
So, the one we're gonna purchase 5 years later for 1.1 million, right? Uh, do is the price doesn't change as soon as we commit, or it's gonna be priced at the retail price when it is delivered? Meaning, are we locking the price when we purchase the order and take the delivery 5 years from now?
That's an excellent question, and one that I think that our town council spent a lot of time on last year for the previous truck we bought. To boil it down, the price is contractually able to change, but we can then cancel if it goes up too much, a certain number of months away from the end of the time, if that makes any sense. So,
It makes sense, but in reality, we need the truck, right? It's like me asking for a water heater, and then the contractor says I would cost $1,000 or $100,000. I still need the water heater, so it's same thing. We need a
It's the
fire truck.
exact same thing. Unfortunately, in our position, every other vendor is doing the exact same thing. So it's not like you can go to another vendor and lock in a price and, they're not going to have the exact same contract, more or less, because they all look at each other's contracts. And I have 3 or 4 different vendors in front of me, and the contract wording is very similar in terms of bound to change due to tariffs and every other thing that we know is happening in the world today.
Got it. What is the average lifespan of a fire truck not in general industry, but if we purchase like 30 trucks in the last 50 years, how long an average Westford fire truck life?
So the NFPA recommends 10 years as a frontline piece and 20 years total service before being retired. That varies depending on use and mileage and number of hours and, a lot of other variables. But in our case, we try to stick as closely to that 10-year mark as possible for a frontline piece.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
I would just point out that I saw recently in the news that the United States Senate held a investigative hearing on this topic and the consolidation of manufacturers and the impact of private equity in particular, because it's obviously hitting fire departments all across the country.
It's absolutely gross.
So maybe at some point there'll be some relief that comes in some form.
Okay, so I think we've gone through all the capital items.
Could we get a sense, Madam Chair, of was the DPW sidewalk the only one that had differing votes, or?
Yes, that's
That
correct.
is the only one. All right. Yep. So I would like to pull those 2 out again, so that we'll vote everything else, unless there's any other item that somebody would like to pull out and vote separately.
I like to abstain on the synthetic turf one. Just
Okay, so I'll pull that out so you can abstain on that one. So I have the 2 DPW sidewalk tractors and the turf field. Is everybody okay voting the rest of them as a group?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will abstain from the turf one as well.
from the turf one?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you can do that when we get to that point. Okay, so except for those 3 items, I'll accept a motion to recommend the rest of the Article 3 capital appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so all in favor of those minus 3. John? Nate?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Beth?
Aye.
John Leffers?
Aye.
Shinji?
Aye.
And Hari?
aye.
Okay, so those pass unanimously. On the, I'll just do them individually. The DPW $300,000 sidewalk tractor purchase. I need to get a motion for each, or, yeah,
You can somebody can make a motion either way, depending on how they want to vote.
okay. Let's just go, does it matter whether we do affirmative or is it easier to do affirmative in the motion language?
You need somebody who's willing to vote yes to
All
make that
right,
motion.
let's see if I can get, let's just, somebody make a motion for the $300,000 equipment. How about that? Yes or no?
I like to defer it. I like to defer it. I don't want to vote on it because for me that's an inconclusive topic.
Well, we could take a recommendation. So are you not recommending that $300,000 piece of equipment at this time?
That's correct.
Okay, so can I take that as a motion from you?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Okay,
I'll
in a
second.
second. Okay, so if you do not want to recommend the $300,000 piece of equipment, you're gonna vote yes.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Beth,
Aye.
John Leffers,
Aye.
Shinji,
Aye.
and Hari.
Aye.
Okay. So that passes, but it's
7 to
no.
0.
Yep, not to recommend. So same thing with the $40,000 piece of equipment.
I motion to recommend it.
Okay, do I have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Second, okay. So this is in the affirmative to recommend.
Aye.
John, aye. Nate,
Aye.
I'm a no. Beth,
Aye.
Shinji,
Aye.
John Leffers,
Aye.
and Hari.
Aye.
Okay, so that's a 6-1.
Yes.
Okay. Now, to the Nutting Field turf.
I'll make a motion to approve,
Recommend.
recommend.
Thanks. Second?
Approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got John Leffers or Beth seconding. Okay, all in favor? John?
I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to abstain because I just don't know.
Okay.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Beth?
Aye.
John Leffers?
Aye.
Shinji?
No.
Was that a no or an abstain?
This is to recommend, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I would know.
No. Okay. Hari?
Abstain.
Abstain. So we've got
2.
4 to 1 to 2.
1, 2. Okay. Okay.
I guess it really doesn't matter because
We're still recommending.
it's just a recommended vote. It's not, doesn't.
Split.
It's not a vote to
No.
make any decision.
Okay, so that is it for our articles for special town meeting. We're just a little behind schedule. So FY25, let's do this quickly. I just wanted to have this on our agenda in case anybody wanted, further information from Dan or, we could just kind of look through stuff. If we want to, I don't know, Dan, do you have like a quick minute recap or you want to just dive into questions?
I could give a brief overview of what we sent out.
Sure.
And sure. So
Okay.
Jesse, our town accountant, as always, prepared the documents for the year-end report to the Finance Committee. Included in that was the FY25 budget recap. That includes all the closeouts from the fiscal year. And then a summary of our local receipts and how they compare to the budget. And following that is a list of all the state aid and receipts and the state assessments we had, how they compared to the budget that was set forward by the state. We did have several large closeouts within the balance the budget this year. A lot of them had to do with vacancies within town positions. We had a large closeout from our comp reserve because we did not sell the fire contract, so that went back to free cash. So when we do have an agreement in place, that free cash was closed out, we can't encumber it. We'll need an appropriation to fund the contract at that time for the past year. So just to put that out there. Let's see what else we had. Yeah, several closeouts, like police utilities for electricity and gasoline will close out quite a bit of money just because of the hybrid vehicles and the fueling up at the DPW department. And several other pretty large closeouts just due to vacancies. So Our local revenue did pretty well. We brought in $9.3 million compared to a $7.7 million budget. What happens with that is the money closes out to free cash at the end of the fiscal year, and that helps to fund our capital plan because we need to replenish that money each year. And then our state aid was pretty close to what our budget was. The one sort of outlier out there was the other revenue, and was from election reimbursement. So Lori Shaw, our town clerk, worked diligently to document all the expenses we had from all the state mandates for the elections, and we got $53,000 back from the state for that. So that was great.
Have we ever done that before? Or is that-
We have sought reimbursement, but we've never gotten that amount of money back before. So she did a great job.
Nice job. Any questions? I'd, just on the local receipt stand, like,
Yep.
there were some big jumps in like the Medicaid reimbursement and that miscellaneous non-recurring. What were those?
See, for the Medicaid, so a portion of that is a program that we do to recover some of the Medicaid for ambulance, and that was to the tune of about $50,000, I think. The rest is school money that they submit for reimbursement for claims that they have with their students. And that money goes back to the general fund at the end of the year because it's not a special place to put that money for the schools. So we do budget for it. So in the roundabout way, it does go back to the schools. But again, this is an account that we always want to be cautious with because the claims vary from year to year. I think one year we had over 500,000, other years have been closer to 100,000. So we're very conservative with that account. The miscellaneous non-recurring, again, this can go up and down from year to year. Part of this is the sale of vehicles. Mike Edwards had a great time selling some surplus equipment. Sold many pieces that were just sitting around in surplus. So we got $44,000 from those. And then we had rebates of $194,000, which these were National Grid rebates that they sent the reimbursement to us instead of the vendors. And we actually took care of this back at the annual town meeting. However, just because the check was made to us, we had to deposit it into the general fund and reappropriate funds for certain projects we did. So that's why that was pretty high.
Any other questions? Okay. So I think we can go on to the year-end results, the town revolving and other funds.
All right. Yeah, so this is our first year supplying this. Jesse worked on this during the spring and set the template and everything. What this has is all of the town revolving funds that we have, that we authorize the expenditure limit each year. What Jesse did is he provided a 5-year look back on each of the funds. So these are the ones that we use every year just about, with the exception of maybe the forestry account, which is used sparingly. But we want to provide this going forward and basically give you any notes on anything we might be using this for. For example, on like the lease of town buildings for the Road and Bush buildings, we do receive $13,000 per year for debt service from TRCCI. So what we did was we took that money and we applied against the budget to pay off that portion of the debt service for the rehab of the Road and Bush building. So any notes like that in here and how we're utilizing some of this, like with the, see, another good one would be the Board of Health immunization account, where we're taking some of that revenue in and we're using it to pay for 20% of the full-time nurses' salary through the budget process. So just utilizing those funds like that to help relieve some pressure on the actual operating budget.
Was this what we had sort of asked for to mirror what the school committee had?
Yes.
That's great.
So thank you, Jesse. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jesse. This was super helpful. I'm just wondering, like, what the next steps are with this manual and with some of the growing balances. Like, what's next for this information?
do you mean and how to advertise it, sort of, or whether?
Or just, what are we going to do about some of the growing balances? Are they, because there were some questions in the bottom there about
Sure.
growing balances. So is there going to be work during the budget cycle to work them down, or some of them, no, we're leaving money in case, or, just to kind of more clarify like what's going on with those balances?
Sure. So I think it's more of a case-by-case basis. So something like the senior programs where the balance actually went up, I mean, that's money donated for senior programming that we want to make sure we keep getting that revenue for that from like a friend. So using that to offset the budget might not be the best thing, but for other accounts, sure, we can look at that. Keep tracking the balances from year to year. We plan to keep updating this and then just have that as a tool, just like the schools do. So if we're getting a lot more revenue than we're anticipating, can we use that in a certain way?
Okay.
So.
We used that last year to supplement the community wellness coordinator. We
Yeah.
used some of the opioid settlement funds. We're going to continue to get those funds until I believe 2038. So we're working on a plan with Nicole at this point in time for that spending all the way out to 2038.
Okay. Great.
So just a quick question. I noticed on the senior programs, it says, consider increasing the expenditure limit. But what's involved? I mean, how does that get done?
Oh, it's a very simple, we did it this year, actually.
It's a town meeting action to authorize expenditure.
Sorry?
It's a town meeting action.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's just one of our traditional
So that has to go
articles.
before town meeting to
Yeah.
increase that.
Yes.
So 65 wasn't enough to capture all the programs. We could look at bringing it up to 75 or 80 or something so I
Right.
can utilize those funds.
Okay.
So.
But it has to be voted on. It's not just, we're just going to increase it.
No.
Yeah, it's voted every year, yeah.
The other thing I just wanted to add is, I think during the budget task force, I had mentioned that I found some other towns that included like other revenue sources in each department budgets. In each of the departments, if they had other revenue, like whether it was a revolving fund or a grant or whatever. And it was just really eye-opening to see that broader picture. So like let's say the health department, in their little section, yes, the bulk of it is coming from the general fund, but they've got whatever X amount paying for the nurse. And so you can kind of see that, and then you can see the corresponding expenses. So it just gives a clearer picture. Because there's some stuff in various departments that is paid for out of revolving funds. It happens on the school side, it happens here. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't know where that was being paid from. You wouldn't even know it was happening. Like it just gives a better picture, sort of.
I think there might be a pretty easy fix for that where we can run a report out of Munis and share that. If we run it by location number, I think we can capture all the types of revenue going into that department and then just disperse that rather than creating another report. We can just download it. Sure.
Are you looking for it in the budget document that's presented in December?
It would be nice.
Sure.
I can find those examples again. I think I sent them to you like 2 years ago or something. It was just nice to have it like right there.
Yep.
But I don't want to create more work for you guys. Like I'm not looking for that now. It's just, it is nice to give it a clearer picture. Like one example on the school side is, I think all the coaches get paid directly out of their athletic revolving fund. It never hits the general fund budget. So you wouldn't even know that was an expense. You wouldn't even know that anything was going on. So stuff like that.
We can look into that.
Yeah, we can start with the easy path and then expand from there.
Right, exactly. Okay. Nothing else? I guess we can go on to the FY27 budget policy direction.
So each year, the select board votes on the fiscal 27 budget policy. We always like to get feedback from the finance committee because you will be holding your public hearings in January. So Dan and I reviewed this related to the fiscal 26 budget policy and present this draft to you this evening. And just would like any feedback before we bring it to the select board on October 14th.
I mean, how different is it from last year?
You want to summarize?
Yeah, there's a few changes in there. One of them was review the OPEB policy and make incremental annual increase to the OPEB trust. It was adhere to the policy, which basically is funding the normal costs for any new people hired after 2012. So the cost of that was just exorbitant. So really that policy was a thing that we wanted to start ramping up the funding for the OPEB. At this point, with our budget concerns, we just want to make incremental impacts to it now. So if we're at $1 million this year, $1.1 million next year, $1.2 million the year after. And then in FY36, we're earmarked to pay off our pension liability. So what a lot of towns have done is they've passed a policy to, when that's paid off, our retirement assessment drops way down, like 75%, to start funding OPEBs with a better plan, more funding going into it. So it's not really an impact to the budget, it's just funding our liabilities. So it's a policy that could be adopted and would help our OPEB liability. From now till then, it can be modified in the future if the board decides to do so, but it's just good to have in place, so we're getting credit for it now.
That was the big gap that there was.
That was a big one, yep. And then one thing I did like, there was a suggestion that came through about the maintain recommended reserves at 5% of the general fund operating budget. Just to clarify that, that would be free cash and stabilization. I thought that was a nice edit. And striving to maintain those, we had that. We want to continue joint chairs meetings throughout the budget process. Yeah, a lot of it is similar to last year. We just reworded it a bit too. So
Okay. That's fine, thank you, Dan.
Go ahead, Dee.
I'm just trying to understand the intersection between the second bullet and the note on the fifth bullet, which says I'll do it in reverse order. The note says FY27 will be challenging due to many unknowns related to labor contracts. And the second bullet says satisfy existing and anticipated future contractual and mandated obligations. I imagine that part of future contractual and mandated obligations is labor contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So can one of you just speak to sort of what are we saying here when it comes to this? Is this a policy statement on compensation levels? Is it a policy statement on trying to achieve something, or what is the objective with those on those two pieces? While also recognizing that we're in a public forum and you don't want to give
Yes.
it's not asking you to talk about the collective bargaining process, just trying to understand it from this document's perspective.
right. So of course we would love to meet all of our contractual anticipated obligations, but with inflation happening and everything, it's becoming harder and harder with the restrictions of Prop 2.5. So, and the bullet number 2, it has been in the budget policy for quite a long time. So if that's a suggestion to perhaps tweak that, we could take a look at that and examine it a little further. But then if we don't have enough funding in place, it's basically saying how do we approach that budget issue.
Service levels may drop. How do we approach that as a team?
Well, I mean, it's really, you've wrapped 2 bullet points into one there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the satisfy existing, all right? And then there's some statement that you could put about anticipated future ones, right? I mean, which would be budget, for, anticipated future contractual based on current knowledge or whatever, some wording like that. Because that's all you can do until that negotiation has taken place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have necessarily a specific recommendation. I was just trying to understand. Those are kind of two sides of the same coin, right? And just making sure that we're clear on what that is. But you've answered my question on it, Dan. I think it's important to just call out the intersection of those two things. So.
My only comment is usually we tend not to use one-time funds for ongoing operating expenses. And I don't know that I necessarily see that called out. I don't know if maybe it is in one of the bullets, or do we want to?
So the only time we typically do that is if we have a supplemental, especially at the March town meeting where we can't raise and appropriate funds. So like this year, we just got word that our Medicare costs are going higher than what we had budgeted. So we're most likely coming in with a supplemental request in March for that. And really our only opportunity to fund that is with free cash. So so we don't want to tie our hands and not be able to meet our obligations either. So it's not meant to be a super restrictive policy, but more guidance than anything, because we still need to operate and meet those obligations. So
The only other question I would have about this is there's the second to last bullet is to continue to monitor the balance in the health insurance trust fund and support FY27 health insurance budget aligned with the recommendation of the trustees, which I'm just thinking of how that intersects with the analysis that's going to occur. Assuming nothing changes, this is absolutely accurate. But I mean, I think just to sort of put on the record that if there was a recommended change and the select board decided to go a different route, this would obviously not,
Right, that would be.
that wouldn't prevail over that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Is there anything else on the budget policy?
So if anyone has any individual thoughts, please give them to Dan and I before October 10th, because we will be getting this over to the select board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Consideration.
Great. All right, draft timeline, everybody take a look at that. I don't know if there's anything we really need to talk about, but get out your calendars and
See if
mark
you're
off the
available.
winter.
You're starting to send out calendar invites, right, Dan?
Yeah, I can send out invites to everybody. There's one note in here where we're skipping a week on January 22nd, where we have a conflict, so it's actually really helpful to give the schools another week, and then gives me another week to work on the revenue presentation after we get state aid in, so I think that will be better this year.
And just, the budget presentation is December, what's the date?
9th, I believe. It's the second Tuesday of December.
Okay. Okay. And then we'll
And
start.
the school committee, I believe, is having their budget presentation the day before, I believe.
Okay. So.
Yes, the 8th for the school committee and the 9th for
So December
the town
8th,
manager.
8th and 9th for the budgets, and then we start January 8th?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And capital planning starts their meetings next Friday.
We start, yeah.
So we're in it. We
Yes.
started our department budget meetings today, so we're in full swing.
Great. Okay. As far as book assignments, it's getting late, so, if-
I was like, they're going to say it's early. Completely misread that.
I say, if somebody wants to change their assignment this year, let me know. Or let's talk about this at another time. I think we have a little bit of time in there. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yeah, we definitely have time.
Yeah, we have time. I think we like to do it ahead of time because we tend not to meet, and that way people can concentrate on different sections. But yeah, let's leave it as is for now. And if somebody has a burning desire to switch to something else, let me know, and we'll work that out before the budget gets released. Committee assignments. Again, does anybody have an issue with staying with their current committee assignments? I think for the school committee, we did have Nate and Dennis, just to kind of, no?
That was, is that for the book? I thought we did the book.
No, I'm sort of punting the book for a second.
Oh, okay. Was I the school committee liaison, Dennis?
Not official.
Okay.
That's what I had. It wasn't official, and honestly, I don't know that it's all that necessary. For a while, there was a lot of stuff happening, and it was nice to have somebody there, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's not something I would be able to
Yeah.
fit into my schedule at the current moment.
Okay.
Christina,
Yep.
the MBTA committee folded, right?
No, it's actually, we kept it open because we're currently in permitting for the first development, so we wanted to just have extra cushion. Also, there is a proposal on the town meeting warrant to swap some land related to MBTA. I don't think the committee needs to meet on that. I'll check with Jeff Morissette tomorrow, but we wanted to keep that committee up and running just for a little bit longer after the zoning adoption. I know it's been over a year now, but just in case something came up.
Okay, thanks for the update.
The only official positions we've got are capital, which are me and John. Health Insurance Trust is Nate, MBTA is Hari, and the Robinson School feasibility is John Leffers. Is everybody okay keeping those? I think we voted those last, I don't know, spring or something. Okay. The rest of the committees, honestly, I'm sorry, Beth, yep.
I haven't been able to really attend the permanent town permanent town building committee, so if anyone else wants to take that on, it's just not working with my schedule to make it there, so.
Okay.
And those are generally the first Monday of the month, I believe. And they've been combined with the Board of Library Trustees primarily because we've been working on the library project.
And personally, for the school committee, permanent town building, and CASC, I don't know that there's that pressing of a need to have somebody, like, there's not a lot going on besides the library, and they're kind of down the line already. So I'm not as concerned about those. Community preservation, you know.
I believe there was some, I think, didn't we get some requests from town residents about following the library? I think there was some concern that it wasn't staying on budget, but it seems like it's on budget now, and I haven't heard those concerns from town residents,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I haven't either.
But I think that's why we kind of started
Right.
trying to follow it closer. But yeah, we don't have a vote at the meeting. It's just more kind of
Yeah.
observing.
Right, just sort of FYI. Okay. So I think that's it.
So there's just a question that came in
Oh,
from
sure.
a member of the public. Heather Fitzpatrick writes, for the capital recommendations, did you discuss the old fire station from capital? Heather, just for clarification, that did get pulled from the fall special town meeting. It may come back in the spring, but that is no longer on the warrant that the board signed on Tuesday evening.
Sorry, can I just ask what that, in general, like, just high level is? The old fire station?
Yep, so 51 Main Street is the old fire station. We are reviewing that in terms of our facilities assessment and keeping the building weather tight because there could be potential uses there. The siding and the roof are starting to fail, and we want to make sure we keep the integrity of the building. Because this is a special town meeting and there are certain classifications to get on the special town meeting, we felt that it'd be better served to have better quotes and a better understanding and the full facilities assessment done and bring that to the spring town meeting.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So let's go on to approval of minutes. Everyone take a look at the April 17th, 2025 minutes. Okay. Could I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? John?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Beth?
Abstain.
Okay, John Leffers?
Aye.
Shinji?
Aye.
And Hari?
Aye.
Great. So that is approved. Our future meetings are there.
Just want to make one change to the future meetings.
Oh, sure.
If town meeting does go 2 nights, we have changed that to November 3rd. The select board is meeting on October 28th. So please just hold November 3rd just in case.
Okay.
I'm not making any predictions.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Benji. All right.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.